Hello everyone, today is 26th of July. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, in today's video, we will be taking up the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper and the good articles from the Indian Express explained section also we will be taking up. Guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to our channel and please do hit the like button. Now, first of all, let's take the overview of the entire newspaper articles. Guys, first of all, if we see the explained section here, the caste census debate is there. We will see that what is this caste census debate. Then the great Indian Bustard is mentioned. So with respect to the conservation, etc., we'll see. Then guys, coming on to the Hindu paper. So this is the page number 1. Much of the important news are not there. Fine, with respect to the excess death, etc., are there. However, guys, here very important article, that is the World Heritage tag for the Ramappa temple has been mentioned. So with respect to the architecture, with respect to the unique point, all the things will be seen here. Then guys, moving to the next page, then here we can see that the city section is there, nothing very much important here. Then guys, other the education plus, again the city page, nothing very much important here, you can clearly skip it. Then on to the editorial page, guys, here we see the climate risk which is coming and how the traditional models of geography, they are being disrupted. Very good article, we'll see. Then guys, the RBI's CBDC plan, we'll see what it is. Then guys, this particular article is talking about the Pegasus program. Now guys, this article is entirely critical to the government. Much of a substance is not there, we'll see. Then guys, this article is talking about the military convergence. Then guys, this article is talking about the food security. Very good references have been there, we'll see it entirely. Then guys, this article is talking about the law and technology, how they cannot be the solution for the fake news. We'll see some good suggestions again have been given here. Then guys, this particular page contains entirely the issues with respect to the political matters, nothing very much important. Then guys, here we can see that the India and US, they are ready to engage on some of the issues. Now guys, into this particular direction, the US Secretary of State is going to visit India. However, when this will happen, we will be seeing it. Then guys, further moving on, then on to the next page, we can see that here guys, the Prime Minister has called for a Unite India movement, Bharat Jodo Andolan. So this reference you can give into your answers, Bharat Jodo Andolan, to bring the different communities together. Then guys, very good finding has been there with respect to the Jal Jeevan mission. We'll see that what has happened here. Then guys, the other articles are not very much important. But guys, here we can see one reference that the Kisan Sansad, which is being held by the farmers, it will be an all-women affair today. So this could be one example that how the parliament at the level of union also needs to be more women representative. Then guys, here we can see that why China's wolf warrior approach is going to stay, we'll see. Then guys, how China-Pakistan synergy is coming on to the matter of Afghanistan. Very good article, we'll see it. Then guys, money wise, nothing which with respect to the UPSC examination, it contains investing and such kind of things, you can skip it. Then guys, on to the sports page also, nothing very much important is there. So guys, that is the overview of the today's newspaper analysis. Friends, you can join our Telegram channel. Onto the Telegram every day, whatever news articles we are taking, we put it into the PDF format. So you can join Telegram and can download it from there. So that is all. And now let's take the detailed analysis of the newspaper. Now friends, starting up with the today's GS quote. So today we will be taking a quote from the Norman Cousins. He had defined the democracy. He says, in a democracy, the individual enjoys not only the ultimate power, but carries the ultimate responsibility. And guys, this notion of ultimate responsibility has even been incorporated into the Indian Constitution after the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, when the fundamental duties were put into the Constitution, and the duties also enshrines the spirit of responsibility that we have. So guys, when we talk about the Indian democracy into the sense that the Norman Cousins have defined the democracies, we have the rights which have been given into the part 3 of the Indian Constitution, fundamental rights, but at the same time, the responsibilities which have been given into the fundamental duties. And apart from the Constitution also, into the moral ethos, into the heritage, as well as into the traditions of India, the spirit of responsibility has been well incorporated. So guys, we can utilize this particular understanding of democracy into the answers related to the GS paper number 2, as well as into the essays onto this particular line. So guys, please do utilize it into your answers. And now let's take the newspaper analysis one by one. Now guys, taking up the first article. So this article has been taken up from the explained section of the Indian Express newspaper, and it talks about the caste census debate which has recently been reignited. Now guys, this particular article, first of all, will be important for our GS paper number 1 into the issues related to the Indian society. Within the society, caste is an important aspect. as well as within the GS paper number 2, polity governance, there also this particular thing can be utilized. Now guys, talking about this particular matter, first of all, when we talk about the caste census, there have been no independent caste census for the pan-India basis. Clear? Guys, when we talk about the census, every 10 years we carry a census into which the population enumeration is done and the various aspects of the India's demography are presented. The last census happened in 2011. Now the 2021 also the census was to happen, the report was to be given, but guys, due to the pandemic that started, the census exercise, it got to be stopped. Now guys, when we talk about the census, into the census, the data with respect to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe are given specifically. But guys, when we talk about the other backward classes, for them, the specific enumerations onto the pan-India basis don't happen. Now guys, when we talk about the census into the India, see, from 1951 to 2011, the data onto the scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribe has been provided, but not for the other caste. However, before the 1931, during the time of the Britishers, the census for the other caste or the different caste also used to happen. Now guys, into the 1941 also, the data for the different caste was collected, but it was not published. So before 1931, it used to happen. For 1941, data collected, did not published, and from 1951, no census for the other caste except for the SC and ST is happening. This is the status. Now guys, into the last few years, over and over, the demand has been raised that the caste census for the other caste also, particularly the other backward caste, needs to be done. Guys, because government is planning many of the welfare schemes, many of the schemes for the upliftment of the different caste, and that thing will not be possible until and unless we are having the rigid and clear and kind of an authenticated data for the castes. Now guys, even when the earlier commissions, that is the Mandal Commission, estimated the OBC population at 52%, that particular data was taken onto the basis of some reports, but still there was no nationally verified data, nationally verified census. Moreover guys, after that also many a times other estimates for the OBCs have been made, but they are also based on to the national sample survey data. Political parties, they make their own estimates with respect to the caste based schemes, caste based welfare initiatives, etc. But there is no kind of a universally accepted framework. So therefore now the caste based census is coming many a times into the news. And guys, into this particular capacity, when we see, the National Commission for the Backward Classes has also urged recently to the government that they need to collect the data onto the population of OBCs, and it needs to be done as a part of a Census of India 2021 exercise. So guys, we have seen two things. Right now no data is there, but data is needed. Even the National Commission for Backward Classes has done. But now why the controversy had come? The controversy had come because guys, now the government, Union Minister of State for the Home Affairs, had provided very clearly into the Lok Sabha that the government has decided as a matter of policy that the enumeration of caste-wise population other than the SC and ST will not be done into the census. So still it will be carried as earlier census were going on. So into this particular capacity guys, it has been said that the government has again dropped a one particular important thing that was to be taken up here. Now guys, when we talk about the caste census, into the time of the UPA government, the proposal was also made, that is the SCCC, that is the socio-economic caste census. Into the socio-economic caste census, it was done that the caste enumeration will be done and what particular caste is holding what type of assets, what is their economic well-being, etc. will be there. Now the socio-economic caste census, the exercise began. For the rural areas, it was done by the Ministry of Rural Development, and into the urban areas, it was done by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation. Now guys, the SECC data, one part of the data which exclude the caste data, was finalized and was even published in 2016. However guys, specifically the caste data which was collected by the SCCC, onto that the Niti Aayog, it started that okay, we will be working on to it and we will be finalizing the caste data into the meanwhile, but up till now 2021 has happened, no final report onto the caste data has been there. And now guys, it is being believed that even if now the report comes of the SCCC, it might not be representative, because guys, the exercise of SCCC, it began way back in 2011-12, so now 2021, so it might not be needed. So altogether a new caste census is needed, so that the welfare schemes, the enumeration of the population could be done effectively. However, guys, at the same time, there are some other people also who had said that no caste census is needed in India, because when we talk about the vision of the casteless society, as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also talked about, into that direction, coming out with the caste census data and all such kind of things will promote an idea that the state itself is very much interesting in seeing the caste-based divisions of the India. So therefore, because of the symbolism, it should not be done. However, guys, on to the both hands, the arguments are there, that is for the better transmission of schemes, and on to the other hand, the symbolic message is there, as I talked about. So guys, that is all into this particular direction. I hope that you have understood it. Guys, you don't need to go too much into the nitty-gritties into this particular matter, but the SCCC, why it is needed, the report that was presented by the SCCC, fine, it needs to be important. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article again taken up from the explained section. It talks about the Great Indian Bustard, and guys, here the details will be important for your prelims examination as well as into the GS paper number 3, environment ecological conservation. This particular thing could be important. Now first of all guys, what has happened now? Recently the government had provided into a response into the Rajya Sabha. It had said that there are actually no Great Indian Bustards into the Kutch Bustard Sanctuary into Gujarat's Kutch district. So into the Kutch Bustard Sanctuary, there are no Great Indian Bustards, and guys, it is actually a very sad kind of news. When we talk about the Great Indian Bustards, guys, you can see it into the picture that it is a kind of a bird, but first of all, it is a terrestrial bird. Terrestrial bird, it means that it uses its flight capabilities for a very limited time. Usually it just walks or meanders onto the ground, and for a limited time it flies, fine. And guys, when we talk about the Great Indian Bustard, it is the biggest of the bustard. There are, guys, the 4 bustard species which are found in India, that is the McQueen bustard, lesser florican, as well as the Bengal florican, and then the 4th one is the Great Indian Bustard. It is the heaviest and the largest of the bustards. Then guys, when we talk about the Great Indian Bustards, their habitat is the grasslands, fine. They feed onto the insects, lizards, grass seeds, etc. And guys, they have been called as the flagship bird species of the grassland, and they are also the indicator which indicates the health of a grassland. So it plays a very important role of a ecological indicator also. Then when we talk about the Great Indian Bustard, guys, their population has dwindled or went down very much drastically, and because of that particular thing, the IUCN, that is the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, had categorized the Great Indian Bustard as the critically endangered, and they are even at the brink of going extinct from the wild. And guys, if I tell you, as by the 2016, it was said by the Wildlife Institute of India that just 25 Great Indian Bustards were left there, fine. Now further guys, when we talk about the Great Indian Bustards, why their population is going down, why they have become critically endangered, the reason is the power transmission lines that are the biggest threat to them. Now guys, as we have seen that they are found in large quantity into the Rajasthan, into the Kutch region of the Gujarat, and in some quantities into the Karnataka, Maharashtra also they are found. Now guys, when we talk right now, what we are doing, we are proposing for the renewable energy, and into the renewable energy, into the Kutch and into the Rajasthan, that the solar energy plants, windmills have been erected. And guys, when the electricity is being transmitted, so transmission lines, wire cables have to be laid down. And now when these have been established into into their habitats, what has happened, these Great Indian Bustards, they have very weak frontal vision, and many a times they get collided with these wires, and because their body is also very much heavy, it is not very easy for maneuver to them, and there they get electrocuted, they die, and such kind of things are happening. Moreover, guys, because of this Kutch and Thar desert both have become the place for the renewable energy, this problem is coming. Now, when we talk about particularly about the KBS, which we mentioned, that is the Kutch Bustard Sanctuary. Now, guys, it is a notified sanctuary for the Great Indian Bustard, and it was notified in 1992. Now, guys, it is a kind of a eco-sensitive zone. Fine. Now, because this transmission lines are coming onto the boundary, what has happened, the complete population has been wiped, fine, into this KBS. Fine. Now, guys, when we talk about this KBS, it was created as a safe haven for the birds. Okay, and initially it was a success also. The Great Indian Bustard population, it increased from 30 into the 1990s, and it went to 45 in 2007. But after 2007, the windmills, solar power plants came, and guys, their population has decreased consistently, and in 2016 there were just 25. Earlier also I told you. Into this particular direction, certain interventions have also been made. For example, the Supreme Court had provided in April that the overhead power transmission lines into these areas, they are needed to be made underground. And after that, guys, just a couple of days back, we have seen that now it has also been said that wherever the overhead power lines are going on, bird diverters are needed to be installed there so that they don't die. Moreover, guys, in 2015, the central government also launched the Great Indian Bustard Species Recovery Program, and under this particular program, the Rajasthan government and Wildlife Institute of India, they came together and they developed the conservation breeding centers where this Great Indian Bustard's eggs, they were harvested from the wild, they were incubated artificially so that the survival of the Great Indian Bustards is made sure, and then they were released into the wild. So into this particular capacity also they have done, and more than 9 successful hatchlings have been there, and the work is going on. But guys, still clearly much more is to be done. And guys, this is also a classic dilemma that though we are trying to come out with the renewable energy, but it is having some of a cost, and this is one of a classic example. So guys, we can utilize it. I hope that you have understood it, and with respect to the prelims as well as GS paper number 3, the issues are clear. So that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this article taken from the Hindu newspaper, and guys, it is a very important article for our examinations, both for the prelims as well as for the GS paper number 1, art and culture, historical monuments, etc. Now guys, what has happened? Telangana's Ramappa temple had got the World Heritage tag, and guys, being given the World Heritage tag is a very prestigious kind of thing for any state, for any kind of monument. Now we'll see with respect to this Ramappa temple what are the intricacies. Now first of all, guys, when we talk about the Ramappa temple, it is also called as the Rameshwara temple, and it was actually created in 1213 during the time of the Kakatiya Empire or Kakatiya regime that was there. Now guys, and within the Kakatiya Empire, the Racherla Senapati Rudraya, who was the general of the Kakatiya king Ganpati Deva, he built it. Okay, so it was built by a general and not by the king. Okay, and what was the name of the general? Racherla Senapati Rudraya. Fine. Whose general he was? He was a general of the king Ganpati Deva. Fine. Guys, one more very important thing is that, guys, this particular temple, it was named after the sculptor Ramappa. Fine, who built it, who designed it, and this is most probably the only temple into the India which have been named after the sculptor, after the designer. So this is also very good and important thing. Then guys, when we talk about the architecture of this particular temple, then guys, its foundation is built onto the sandbox technique number 1. Now, what is this sandbox technique? Now guys, see, whenever a kind of a structure has to be given a foundation, there is a kind of a rigid and solid foundation that we make. Now guys, into the sandbox technique, when we are building a foundation, then a kind of a pit is first of all made, and within this pit we put into it a kind of a mixture which includes the sand lime, jaggery, karakaya, which is also called as the black myrobalan fruit, Okay, and now these particular things are put into a specific kind of mixture. Why? The reason is that they have a particular natural abilities and they are very good shock absorber, and because of that particular thing, if earthquake will be coming, then the building will not be destroyed, because a kind of a resilience towards account of a counter resilience to against the earthquake shock waves will be given. So guys, this particular soundbox technique is there, and here we can see that the indigenously available products are being used. So this is the sandbox technique. Fine, it acts as a cushion. Then guys, the second important aspect of this particular architecture is this, that the lower part of this temple, it is made up of a red color sandstone, and the gopurams, that is the gateways, they are look like white in color because light colored bricks are used. And guys, the bricks which have been used here, it is said that they have such kind of buoyancy that they can float over the water. Now whether actually they float, it is not very much clear. So this is a kind of a very important thing. Then guys, it has also been provided that the outside large brackets which have been there, which are giving the support to this particular temple structure, they have been made of the black basalt, and this black basalt is very much rich into the iron, magnesium and the silica, and they are basically symbolic, or they are carved as the mythical animals, the female dancers, the musicians, and they are a kind of a very important masterpiece of the Kakatiya art, which have a kind of a very delicate a very kind of a delicate carving, etc. Moreover guys, this particular temple, it is so basically, it is so grand that even the Marco Polo, the European travel who visited the India during the time of Kakatiya Empire, had called this temple as the biggest star into the galaxy of temples. Moreover guys, when we talk about the worshipping aspect of this particular temple, it has been called as the Shivalayam. Okay, and into this the Lord Ramalingeshwara is worshipped. So guys, that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now friends, this particular article will be important under the GS paper number 2, the social justice, as well as in GS paper number 2 there is a section with respect to the assessment of the government schemes for the development. Now guys, here we will be talking about the Jal Jeevan Mission. Now guys, first of all, when we talk about the Jal Jeevan Mission, the idea here is that a kind of a Jal Andolan is to be started into the India, and as a part of this Jal Andolan, every person, it is needed to be provided with a safe, clean drinking water. And guys, under the Jal Jeevan Mission, it has been envisaged that at least 55 liters of water per person per day is to be provided even into the rural households through the Functional Household Tap Connection FHTC by the year 2024. Moreover guys, under this Jal Jeevan Mission, sustainability has also been emphasized. It has been said that the supply demand mismatch is to be also to be corrected. When we talk about the demand, it is much, supply it is not there. And guys, within the supply, it has been provided that the rainwater harvesting, the kind of a traditional structures of water, they needed to be revived here. Apart from the groundwater recharge, the management at the household level with respect to the water for reuse, etc. is also to be done. So guys, the sustainability, the viability, all have been there into this Jal Jeevan Mission, which was to be done by the 2024. Now the funding pattern of this particular scheme is that the center and the state, it will be sharing it into the ratio of 90:10 for the Himalayan and northeastern states. 90% will be given by the center, but for the other areas it is the 50-50, and for the union territories it is 100% will be given by the center. So guys, that is the Jal Jeevan Mission number 1. Fine. Now number 2, what has happened guys, into the Jal Jeevan Mission, a kind of a expedited kind of a mission or a target was taken by the government in 2020. It was taken onto the 2nd of October, that is the anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, that within the 100 days span, what we will do, we will connect all the schools, all the Anganwadis with the piped drinking water. Because guys, most of the times we see that because the functional and basic infrastructure is not there, many a times the girls particularly, they'll drop the schools, because once they attain the puberty, they need the functional safe toilets with the water, but that thing is not there. So guys, it was provided that a 100-day campaign to achieve the 100% coverage to provide potable piped drinking water was to be done. Now guys, here all the schools, Anganwadis, they are to be covered. Fine, and at that time when this mission got started on the 2nd October 2020, already 40% of schools and Anganwadis, they were having this particular thing. Now guys, what had happened? 10 months have been passed. Within 100 days it was to be done. 10 months have been passed, and still only 66% of the schools and 60% of the Anganwadi centers across the nation, they are getting the FHTC, that is the functional household tap connections. Fine, and this particular data has been shared by the Ministry of Jal Shakti. So guys, clearly government has not been able to achieve its 100% of the target. And guys, right now if we see, we are into the mid of a pandemic within which the hand hygiene has been emphasized much. And guys, if hand hygiene will not be practiced, much of the gains might not be there, and into that capacity having at least the water is a very important thing. Now guys, into this particular capacity, we have seen that there are certain states and union territories which are good performer also. Fine, there are at least the 9 states and union territories which have reached the 100% kind of achievement. But guys, the states such as the Jharkhand and West Bengal, they have less than 50% of schools and less than 10% of Anganwadis with the tap water connection, and basically they are also in a way pulling down the entire national average also. So guys, into this particular capacity, the hygiene cannot be compromised thing. It needs to be a priority, particularly into the schools. So therefore government needs to be much more responsive into this particular direction. And guys, as we are talking about the fiscal stimulus that is being given by the government for much of the infrastructure, one part needs to go into this direction also. So that is all about this particular article. Guys, please do utilize it as a case study. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this article taken from the editorial section of the Hindu newspaper, and it is talking about the climate change which is becoming very much visible. Now guys, first of all, when we talk about the present times, we are into the monsoon season. Now initially the monsoons, they were not onto a very good start. Less than average monsoon was there, but now guys, the monsoon have been good, and even they have been much more than the average. If we talk about the South India particularly, into the last newspaper analysis also we have seen that 29% more rainfall have been there. Now guys, though these particular kind of details are not that much very much important, it will change also. But one particular thing has been proved beyond point that a kind of a distinctive climate change pattern is emerging. Clear? The rainfall patterns, number one, are very much erratic. After that guys, when we see the frequency and the strength of cyclones over the Arabian Sea particularly, they have also been very much different. Guys, you need to keep it into your mind that traditionally the big and impactful cyclones have been into the Bay of Bengal, but now the trend is shifting, or the pattern is shifting more towards the Arabian Sea. Now, but guys, this particular change had happened particularly into the last 2 decades, and 52% increase in the frequency of cyclones over the Arabian Sea from 2001 to 2019 has been there. And at one time there is a increasing frequency in Arabian Sea, but at the Bay of Bengal the frequency is decreasing. 8% decrease into the Bay of Bengal has happened between 1982 to 2002. So basically the historical things that have been provided into your NCERT books, they are changing now, and it points that the climate patterns, climate trends are completely changing. Very important observation. Then guys, it has also been provided that the duration of the cyclones has also increased by 80% into the Arabian Sea. Now guys, the cyclones are picking up more moisture. Because of that more moisture, they are contributing to the extreme rainfall, torrential events, particularly into the western coast. And the example of the Tokte cyclone that came recently onto the west coast is a prominent example. So guys, therefore what we need to do, we need to plan that how this global heating is contributing onto the climate patterns, and extreme events in terms of cyclone are becoming problematic. And here not only the studies with respect to the moisture, cloud conditions, etc. is to be taken up, but guys, now the interaction between the warming, the rainfall warming, the aerosol emission, particulate matter, material pollution, agriculture, forestry pattern, all needs to be accounted, and the comprehensive weather forecast models are to be provided into this capacity. Particularly when we see the IMD, it needs to play an important role, because guys, earlier into the newspaper analysis we have seen this thing also, that IMD many a times had not been able to forecast the weather dynamics, though it is a kind of a very complex thing taken into the account. But now guys, there is no room for the complacency, because kind of a complexity is emerging here. Now, here, therefore, what is to be done? What is the way forward? What are the emerging priorities that are to be taken? Number one, there is a role of accurate forecast that is to be done so that kind of preemptive warnings can be given, because guys, if good warnings will be there before time, rehabilitation mitigation efforts can be made. Secondly, guys, it has been provided that we need to carry the climate proofing of the most vulnerable region. Now the climate proofing needs that there are many of the regions where the population is living, but every year they are being ravaged. So either we can, if we can build the sustainable resilient infrastructure there, that is to be done, and if it is not possible, people are to be permanently evacuated so that every year life and property is not getting destroyed. Then guys, it has also been provided that what we need a kind of a marking of the places which are vulnerable, and they are needed to be declared that okay, they are not fit for the habitation. So such kind of efforts are needed to be taken. Moreover, guys, with respect to the disaster, Sendai framework, Hyogo framework are also there. Into that particular direction, some notable recommendations have been given. All of them are to be followed completely into the letter and spirit. Moreover, guys, when we talk about the disasters, there is the National Disaster Management Authority also. NDRF forces are also there. They are also needed to be molded in such a way that their capacity can be enhanced. Their coordination with the community needed to be basically molded into such a way that the kind of efforts, if the disaster it strikes, then the effective mitigation could be given. So guys, this is all which have been the takeaways from this particular article. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now friends, this article again taken up from the editorial section. It is talking about the Reserve Bank of India's recent decision where RBI had said that they will be moving forward and they will be exploring the idea of a central bank digital currency, CBDC. A pilot will be started very much soon. Now guys, this is 4 years after a kind of an expert interministerial group, it recommended that we need to explore the digital currency for the India. Now guys, when we talk about the digital currency, right now the RBI's decision to hold a pilot becomes very much important, because guys, anyhow, the cryptocurrency and regulation of official digital currency bill 2021, it is about to be introduced. The status of cryptocurrencies into the India will be decided here, and before that, if RBI shows a kind of a direction that okay, we are also experimenting, then that aspect can also be included into the bill, so that afterwards there is no problem. Number one thing. After that, guys, when we talk about the digital currencies, see, the digital currencies, cryptocurrencies particularly became very much popular after coming of the Bitcoin. Now guys, Bitcoin, though many a times it has been criticized that it has been used for the ransomware, for many of the illegal kind of activities, that money has been, the cryptocurrencies have been used. But guys, at the same time, the kind of potential that has been opened by that, it is enormous. Particularly the blockchain technology that has been introduced by the cryptocurrencies, it has been particularly very much important. Guys, blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger where the transactions can be recorded. First of all, as it is decentralized, the tampering cannot be there. So blockchain is a very important thing. And because of the blockchain and because of the potential that is there into the cryptocurrency, according to a recent 2021 BIS survey of the central banks around the world, it has been seen that 86% of the central banks around the world, they are actively researching the potential of such currencies. 60% of them are experimenting with that technology, particularly the blockchain technologies, and 14% of the banks, they are deploying the pilot projects, and here India had also joined. And when we talk about our neighbor China had already said that they are coming out with a digital renminbi, digital currency, and it will even be started very much soon. So into that particular capacity, as the Reserve Bank of India has also said that we are also becoming with a digital currency, then guys, it is a welcome kind of thing. Now guys, if we talk about the digital currency, what will be its nature, what principle it will be working upon, what will be the role, whether it will be a kind of a completely central bank managed, some kind of other mechanism will be there, it is not very much clear. So guys, that thing will be coming out into the main course of time. So till then, please avoid making any kind of a speculations, particularly if you are giving interview this year. Admit it that the things with respect to the details are not into the public platform. However, the idea has been explored. Now guys, when we talk about the digital currency, it becomes important. Number one, when we see India's reliance onto the physical currency is too much, though the digital transactions, sorry, in India have increased. And guys, according to the Deputy RBI Governor, 55% compound growth over the digital transactions have been there into the last 5 years. So the digital transactions are increasing, but still the reliance onto the digital physical currency is much, and the cost of physical currency, logistical cost, printing cost are too much. So the digital currency will reduce that particular thing. Moreover, guys, the settlement will also be very much fast, because the interbank settlement will not be there. Okay, direct settlement of digital currency could happen. So that particular thing also, it will become very much effective. The role of the banks as an intermediary in between will get reduced. So the swiftness will also be coming. However, into the main course of time, we'll see that exactly what will be the process. So it will become more clear. So that is all about this particular article, guys, and it will be very much important into the GS paper number 3. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article is talking about the issue of fake news, and therefore it becomes a very important topic for our GS paper number 2 as well as GS paper number 3. Now guys, into the present times, we are seeing the fake news, they have become very much problematic. And guys, when we talk about the fake news, the traditional strategies to counter the fake news have been two, that is the law as well as technology. Now, when we talk about law, guys, we have seen that the IT rules 2021 has been initiated, where specifically the significant social media intermediaries, they have been given a mandate that they need to find the first originator. So this is a step into countering the fake news. We are using the law here. Then guys, under the IT Act of 2000, there are specific sections which also provides the penal provisions if the fake news is being spread out. So the law is there, which government is coming out with, amendment are being carried. Okay. Then there is another aspect, that is the aspect of the technology. Now guys, what is the aspect of technology? The artificial intelligence is being introduced by the different social media platforms. For example, Facebook, they are coming with the artificial intelligence so that they can identify the news which are not having the good credentials. Now, the problem, guys, come here. See that both law and technology are there, but can they deter it? The answer is that effectively they cannot deter it, because guys, these things are into the building from last 4 or 5 years, but every year the consumption of fake news had only increased. So the evidence points that the law as well as technology are not that much very effective. Number one thing. Number two, guys, when we talk about the fake news particularly appeal more and more to one's emotion, and when a thing will be appealing more to the emotion, it will be trusted even more. Now guys, there are the data also into this particular respect. It has been provided that when we talk about the fake news generates higher engagement among the readers than the real news. Okay, so this particular thing makes very much important. So into this particular article, it has been provided that rather than onto the fixation on law and technology, a historical thinking is required. Now, what is historical thinking? Guys, historical thinking is that we as the citizens need to develop a scientific temper. We need to develop a logical, rational, intellectual approach whenever we are approaching any piece of information. Even into the Constitution of India, article number 51A provides that it will be the duty of every citizen to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry. So that spirit of inquiry is the historical thinking that we need to develop. Now guys, when we talk about more about the historical thinking, we need to develop the analytical skills, the point of views, evidences, validity, reliability of source, putting the information into the context, corroboration with the different other kind of skills. It is to be done. And how it will be done? Guys, it will be done through the new education policy 2020, which is into the making. Now, under the new education policy 2020, into the curriculum, we need to put such kind of ingredients that children from the school level, they become more analytical, they become more endorsed with this historical thinking, so that when they will be becoming the adults, they have a kind of a inbuilt filters that okay, how fake news need to be filtered out. So rather than the law and technology, the change into the intellectual well-being is to be done. So that is which have been provided into this particular article. I hope guys that you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article talks about the India's food security. Now into the times of pandemic, food security has been very much threatened. Now guys, into this particular direction, you might have seen that even in our newspaper analysis, we have seen that many times government has been lashed. Even the Supreme Court came out with a comprehensive reform package for the migrant worker, where it was provided that one nation, one ration card is to be implemented as early till the end of the July. Then it was said that the community kitchens were to be provided, but still the food security was not very much effective. However, guys, still some steps have been taken by the government. So what are the steps taken by the government? It has been told into this particular article, and what more is to be done, that thing has also been told here. So two important takeaways are there into this article. And guys, this will be becoming important for our GS paper number 2, the rights for the citizens, because right to food is also there, as well as into the GS paper number 3, the nutritional security of India. Now, first of all, guys, the steps taken by the government, what are they? Number one, the government came out with the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. Fine, into this, it was provided that 5 kg additional food grains will be provided, and 81.3 crore National Food Security Act beneficiaries, they got additional 5 kg food grains. Along with it, 1 kg of pulses per family per month was also given free of cost. Then the next thing was that under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan package, it was said that the 8 crore of the migrants, they were provided 5 kg of food grains per month free of cost. That is the second reform. Then guys, thirdly, government also allowed the NGOs and the civil societies that they can buy the subsidized rice and wheat directly from the Food Corporation of India if they want to distribute it to the poor and needy people. So this thing has happened. Then guys, government came out with the leave no one behind approach. Now into the leave no one behind, the vulnerable sections, poor, destitutes, elderly, the people from the different sexual identities, they were all taken up here. So guys, with respect to the approach philosophy also, government came with a change. So this was the which was happened. However guys, still much is to be done. And what are to be done? Number one, the one nation, one ration card is to be implemented as early as possible, because in India we see a substantial population is of migrants, and many a times these migrants have very weak safety nets. So therefore, one nation, one ration card is to be implemented. Then guys, the next thing which has been provided here is that the climate change is making a kind of a big impact. We have seen into the earlier article also. So how that we need to develop the agroclimate zones where such kind of crops needed to be developed which are not that much sensitive to the climate changes, and how the resilient crops can be made. Into that, the research and development is also needed to be done so that the climate doesn't impact our nutritional security. Then guys, third, it has to be provided that when we talk about the food, much of food is being wasted. Into that capacity, number one, we need to come out with such kind of a strategies that food wastage is reduced. Into that thing, many times the perishables are being wasted, so that the food processing is need to be done that way that the shelf life of the perishable can be enhanced. Then guys, when we talk about the food that is being wasted, then guys, basically because of that also much of the greenhouse gases is being done, and into that capacity when we see that wasted energy, it is basically responsible for more than 10% of the world's total energy consumption, and the annual greenhouse gas emission associated with the food losses, they are more than 3.5 gigatons of the CO2 equivalent. So the wastage is needed to be reduced, because guys, the food which have been wasted for growing it, the emissions were carried. Fine. Then it has been provided that guys, we need to transform the food system with the upcoming UN Food System Summit, which will be happening, the Nutrition for the Growth Summit, and the COP26 Summit onto the climate change. Now, whatever the outcomes will be there into this particular summit, these outcomes are to be integrated into the India's food approach. Fine. And guys, they will be defining the next decade, which have also been the UN decade of action onto the nutrition, the coming decade, sorry. So here guys, much of the evidence-based actions, much of the swift actions are to be taken by the government. So that is all guys, you can directly utilize them into your answers in GS2 as well as GS3. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now friends, this particular article, it is talking about the military convergence that is being talked about here. The three wings, that is the army, the Air Force and the Navy, they are needed to be integrated. However, the Indian Air Force, it says that the distribution of assets of the Indian Air Force might not be effective, because first of all, much of the assets are already not into the place. So guys, this particular article is talking onto the synergy plan which is there. However, with respect to the UPSC, much of a substance is not there into this particular article. Fine. So guys, if you have a particular interest, you can read it, but purely for the UPSC point of view, nothing much is there into this particular article. So if you want, you can take a call on it. So that is all. Fine. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this article is talking about the China-Pakistan synergy that is coming. Fine, onto the matter of Afghanistan. Now into the last few days, we have seen many of the articles onto the Afghanistan, that how the situation is volatile. Taliban is taking much of a control. Now guys, China had found a very good opportunity here. Number one, China is again bashing onto the USA, because already the US-China relations are not good there. China says here that USA's irresponsible withdrawal has led to the security problem into the Afghanistan. Secondly, guys, the China had got an excuse that it can come together with the Pakistan and China-Pakistan in order to bring the stability into the Afghanistan. They can say that we will now be working onto the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Now guys, when we talk about the China-Pakistan economic corridor, it is a big and ambitious infrastructure project that is involving the railways, highways, connectivity, fastways, etc. Now the China-Pakistan economic corridor, it goes from the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. India always had said that we don't allow the China-Pakistan economic corridor, because if it will go from the Pakistan occupied Kashmir and it will be belonging to the Pakistan, then clearly it will be a message will be given that okay, POK belongs to the Pakistan only, and we cannot let go of POK, because at the end of the day, the POK is a part of our own sovereign territory. So the China-Pakistan economic corridor has not been allowed by the India. Now guys, the China and Pakistan, they are coming together. They say that by the China-Pakistan economic corridor, we will do the development into the region, and by the development, we will try to reduce the terrorism. And now the talks are coming that the China-Pakistan economic corridor, it also needed to be extended to the Afghanistan. And guys, Afghanistan now will become even more interested into the extension of CPEC because of the volatile conditions which is there. Now the Afghanistan needs development, it needs money, it needs resources, and China, you know, always had played by the checkbook diplomacy, and by that checkbook diplomacy, the China might again be playing here. Now guys, to leverage this particular situation, what has happened, the meet had happened between the foreign ministers of Pakistan as well as China, and it was the third strategic dialogue which had happened here. And into this strategic dialogue, they had said that joint action into the 5 areas are to be taken. Number one, the immediate priority is to avoid the expansion of war into the Afghanistan. Number two priority is to promote the intra-Afghan negotiation between the Afghanistan government and the Taliban. Third, it has been said that the terrorist forces, they are needed to be given a kind of they are needed to be stopped. Fourthly, guys, it has been said that the cooperation is needed to be promoted among the Afghanistan's neighbors. Now that is something good thing which has been said, although earlier points were also good, but guys, this is just a wheel for the fifth point that has been made. And the fifth point that is there is the China-Pakistan economic corridor. It needs to be extended to the Afghanistan. Fine, this is the main agenda here. Now guys, how the Afghanistan will be responding into the days to come into this thing, this we need to see. Okay, and guys, if Afghanistan also joins, then India will be into a very sticky situation. So guys, over the days it will be evolving, and we'll see what will happen here. So guys, that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this article is talking about the China's wolf warrior approach. Now, though it is a kind of an interview, but some points are there which you can note. First of all, the wolf warrior approach, it means China's new style of diplomacy, where China has become more bash, China has become more direct, China is not using very much clean language into its diplomacy. That is the wolf warrior diplomacy. When we talk about the wolf warrior diplomacy, it became evident after 2008-9. Because guys, here the global financial crisis came, and into this global financial crisis, China did not got impacted too much. So here China's rise was there and other countries were going down. So since then, the China's wolf warrior diplomacy is there. Now, why the China's wolf warrior diplomacy is continuing? The most important reason into this particular direction, guys, which has been given is that domestic politics. Now, within the economy of China, now the China's growth little bit has slowed down, and the people, they are looking very eagerly towards the Chinese government. And guys, whenever the government is not able to perform very much good, what it does, it enrobes the nationalistic sentiments, and into that nationalistic sentiments, it is coming out more openly for the Chinese interest, bashing the other countries. And basically the wolf warrior diplomacy is not for the foreign countries, it is for the domestic spectators. So therefore the China is taking up the wolf warrior diplomacy, and this thing will be continuing for a considerable time. So all these are the messages that have been given here. Fine, so that is all. Apart from this, nothing much important is there. So guys, this is for the today's newspaper analysis. Guys, I believe that you are finding the utility of this initiative. Guys, please do share the initiative if you like it. Thank you so much.